So here's another question then, because I mean, to get to that point, it's like, so at some point, don't you have to sacrifice the freedom to get the freedom that you want?
Yes,
Yeah.
you do.
That's right now.
Yeah.
But it's also not forever staying in that moment. We'll talk about, like, you know, doing the work that's needed, but we have to continue to move the needle. Just because we say, like, we don't want to exchange our time for money, continue to exchange our time for money, doesn't mean that we don't want to do work, doesn't mean that we want to be lazy and just sit around. We want to contribute into other areas. We want to fill other assignments that God gives us in our life for purpose-driven work. So it's not that I don't want to continue to fulfill this assignment in my life and in the season that I'm in. It's just that I want to move and reframe it in a way where other people are also contributing to it.
In order to get to a place where you're working on the business, you have to first work in the business.
Yeah.
And I feel like that experience is important because when you are working on the business, then you're not going to know who's doing what, if they're doing it the right way.
I don't know about that.
Why you say that? Welcome to part 2 of our roundtable episode. If y'all haven't seen part 1, go watch that right now, then come back and finish it.
Dating is collecting data.
Yes, exactly.
Dating is collecting data. I don't feel like a person should put so much pressure of being like, this is my person.
Yeah.
This is the one. Because honestly, once you really get to know them, you really don't know.
Yeah.
You wouldn't collect any data if you're not doing any dating.
Yeah.
So you have to.
do something. You have to do something, but I'm saying don't put so much pressure of like, oh, like he's it or she's it.
Yeah.
Like it's
Or we gonna be
okay. It's
together for
okay.
life.
Yeah, it's okay to be like, I'm dating you. I'm dating you.
But I feel
I'm looking at my options and I'm like, okay, I like this about this person. I like this about this person. And that's it. I don't have to have sexual relations with either one of you. I don't have to do none of that. Now, if I choose to, that's my choice. But if you stick to one person, you're always going to feel like this is the person. You're always going to be like, oh yeah, this is the person because I'm sticking with this person.
Listen.
She threw it off a little
So
bit.
are you stating that? Wait. Okay. Okay. So you're saying that collecting data meaning that you need to date multiple people at the same time.
You can.
Let's get it. We about to get into these Growing Painz cards, so
sir.
I need you to pick one, my boy. Keep it in the middle.
All right. Question: what's the biggest challenge you face as an entrepreneur, and how did you overcome it? That's for me, or
You start first, and then
We'll go around.
I would say the biggest challenge I faced is humility. I did not understand.
Sorry. Say what you do, and then.
Okay, all right, I'll say what I do. My name is Ken, I'm 23. I run an insurance brokerage. I focus on life insurance, health insurance, property insurance, and commercial car insurance, commercial and truck insurance. So I've been doing it almost 2 years now. Before that, I had a sales business, so I've been an entrepreneur for about 6 years now.
Okay. So now you can answer.
Okay, so I would say the biggest challenge in the beginning was humility, like actually listening to people. Like I used to think I listened to people, like I do like a part of what they say do, but I would do it in my way, and I'd be like, okay, it doesn't work. So I think that was like really one of the hardest things for me because I just could never figure it out. Like I was like, what's the trick that they got that I don't? And in reality, they're actually listening, and I'm just doing it, just hoping to get by.
Okay.
I say,
What you do, and then your answer to the question.
Well, I sell shoes mainly. I do a lot of things, but that's the main thing I do. But
you be having crazy shoe game.
yeah,
I know something right now.
Appreciate it, but I say caring what people think, cause like at first I was trying to start selling shoes like worldwide, like actually posting and letting people know like I'd rather just deliver shoes. You know what I'm saying? Like if you need some shoes, I got the shoes. You know what I'm saying? Let me know if you need it or not. And I started posting on my Instagram, but then I started seeing a couple like hate comments and stuff like that, like are they fake and stuff like that. I'm just like, all right, bro. You know what I'm saying? For one, why am I wasting my time giving you fake? So it's like I just stopped promoting it. So now it's like I said, caring what people think, as in like promoting it, like now just do it, like it's whatever, you know what I'm saying? If you think they fake, then okay, don't buy it, you know what I'm saying? Buy it or not, it don't matter to me.
Okay.
I feel that. So, I'm a couture fashion designer, and
What's your
I would
name?
say Jada. Oh, we're not saying age. Okay, yeah. I'm Jada, couture fashion designer, and I would say for me, my biggest challenge was doing the right thing consistently. You can do a lot of work every day, or you certain things consistently, but is it really pushing you to where you're trying to go? And so I feel like I spent a lot of time doing a lot of things that weren't really helping me get to where I'm trying to go. As well as what you said, not listening. I'd be hard-headed.
My name is Jaden, and I'm part of a family-owned logistics company specialized in transportation. And I would say the biggest thing I've learned over this entrepreneur journey would be, for me, being the face of the company, is maintaining composure. Because there's a lot of times in the trucking world where you have your good days, you have your bad days, and your bad days are really bad. And if you panic, your drivers will panic. So if their truck breaks down, I have to learn how to talk to them over the phone, as in, where you at? It's okay, I'm gonna get you a hotel. And then on the back end, when they're not looking, figure out, okay, we gotta spend money on this truck. How do I personally balance out taking that loss, in a way, and not be able to break it down, because it's family owned, so I have my family looking at me as well. It's like, is it worth it, at the end of the day.
Okay. My name is Tre'Vion. I am a social media manager. I would say it's like, what was the question? Like the hardest thing you overcame?
Yeah.
I would say being okay with being uncomfortable. So I would say that, because I remember I used to get my little $2,000 here, $3,000 here, and I used to be like, oh, I'm good. I'm gonna stop looking for clients. I'm chilling, and then I'll be like, oh shoot, are they gonna re-up? Are they gonna like renew my services, or do I have to go find another client? And if they don't, then I'm like scattered and I'm like scared, like dang, like what am I gonna do next? How am I gonna get this money? And start just realizing like I need to start planning ahead and start realizing like, okay, I'll be on like 2 months in, let me know how the service goes, and also understand, are you going to renew? And then if not, then I can already start looking before the contract ends. So being very uncomfortable. Yes.
All right. So my name is Jariah. I'm a podcaster. My podcast is called The Highlight Reel. So I would say some of the things that I've had a hard time dealing with has been basically trying to work through doubt and fear to grow something that I want to go somewhere and I want to leave a legacy with. But also, we were talking about this a little bit earlier, but trying to also relinquish some of the control for it to grow, because it's like, it's my baby. So for me to have to rely on other people for me to grow this thing that I set out to do in the beginning, when leaving the work to you, you might not care about this as much as I do. So why should I leave it to you? That's been something that's been a little hard for me to do, and trying to get over it, because if you wanted to go somewhere, you can't go far by yourself. So that's something I'm kind of navigating. I haven't overcome it necessarily, but I think as I continue to make the correct steps to do so, then I'll get over it and I'll overcome it. So,
For sure.
Yeah.
All right. My name's Yanni. I'm a podcaster, and I own a Christian streetwear brand called Wise Label. I would say something that I had to overcome was time management, and in the way of executing ideas faster, but in a good time span. Because for some reason, in the past, I used to have an idea. Okay, I got this clothing brand. This idea I want to do for a drop, and I'll be like, okay, let me just drop. But no, like, you have to market. You have to put the word out. You have to, put the bug in people's ear. So that on that spectrum, but also not sitting on ideas for too long, because now somebody done stole the idea. So yeah.
Yeah, for sure. I would say I'm Tre'Vion. I'm a graphic designer and podcaster. And so one thing that I've learned is setting an intention and also development. So what I mean by that is not being a perfectionist. I constantly have these great ideas when editing and working with different clients and stuff. And so the intention that I've had to set is like, what's the standard when you're working with these people? How long is the project going to take? What clients are you trying to attract? And what is the ideal stuff that you need in order to grow? So instead of looking at all these ideas, what's the one idea that you're going to go with in order to execute well? Because you can sit on top of ideas, sit on top of things, and then you leave yourself stagnant in a place where like you just don't do anything at all. So that's been something in development, has been like, being able to speak up and get uncomfortable when asking for your price, or, being able to communicate that this relationship no longer works anymore, and having clear intention with the people that you work with, and not just allowing things not just allowing your business to be a hobby, but to be a true business for longevity and to continue to keep prospering and expanding. Who's most likely to sell feet pics? I would never, bro.
Really?
Yeah.
Praise God. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
First question that I have for y'all is, are y'all happy with the decisions that y'all made so far, as far as like based off of where you are in your career, in your business and stuff like that right now? Are you happy with where you at? What are some, if you want to say things you feel like you could have did better, but are you genuinely happy with where you are right now?
You can answer the question first.
I'll say I've spent a lot of time being disappointed in myself for sure, because I've let fear keep me from like a lot of opportunities and stop me from doing really great things. And I think I just got out of that disappointment earlier this year, but I feel like in order for me to really feel happy with, I guess, the decisions I've made, I have to like go back through like all my accomplishments of like, oh girl, you did this, you did this, you did this, you did this, and it's like, okay, I feel like, okay, you're not that bad. But I feel like it's very easy for me to not be happy with decisions that I've made, but also I still look at them from the point of view of, okay, maybe I messed up here, I messed up there, but I'm going to do better moving forward. And so I feel like that's my perspective on it.
Joe, going back to like your accomplishments and like recognizing that, I do this thing called like a winner's jar.
I saw that on your story, and I love that.
Yeah, it's like a winner's jar, and any small accomplishment, I don't care if it's I just booked my first out-of-state client or simple, small as like I just did my first proposal for them or things of that nature, and I write it on a sticky note and I ball it up and I put it in a winner's jar. So whenever I feel like I'm down or I'm sad about something, whether it's personal or business, I literally go back into that winner's jar and I'll be like, wow, I really made strides. And these are small strides to where I am now.
I feel like that's so good, but I think I really, like how you said small strides, I treat some of the things that I've done as super small, because it's like, okay, yes, you did that, but you haven't done this. And so I think it's a matter of like my perspective.
Yeah.
And just being grateful for all that I've done. But it's very easy for me to feel like, okay, you did that, but you still could have done more. You could have done the bigger thing. Or it's like maybe you did these 5 small things, but that super big goal you had, you didn't do that. Yeah. So I do that to myself a lot.
Yeah. I don't think that that's a bad idea. Like, I don't think if you look at it and be like, okay, I haven't done that yet, it's bad. I think that if you process the thought and you process the thought as a negative thought, then that's when it becomes bad. But you should learn how to process that thought and like, okay, wow, I'm closer to this. Yeah. So like when I write down a goal, like I'd be like, okay, like I was really hard to get in all my 4 licenses. I was like, oh my God, like, oh, this is it. This is crazy. But once I got 1, I was like, okay, man, I got 3 more to go. Once I got 2, I said, oh, I got 2 more to go. Yeah. And it pushed me every time I told myself, okay, I'm not there yet. And it keeps me humble at the same time too.
That's good.
That's a very tricky question for me, because I look at it as, for me, where I am today, back then I didn't think my first choice was the smartest choice, because I joined the Marine Corps first, but the person I became as being a Marine, artillery section chief, deploying and stuff like that type of chaos, looking out for people that's under my care, like if I don't train you right, you die, kind of, for me, the position I am at the head of the trucking company takes a bit more like I've been seasoned for this. Like this was meant for me. This leadership, this looking out for people. This, if no one else leave y'all panicking, I promise you we'll be okay. Type. So I didn't think it was good, but looking back at it now, I wouldn't be the person I was if I didn't go through that season. You know?
Yeah.
I agree.
Well, I was gonna say because I'm trying to answer this very honestly for myself. Even taking everything that I've been through into account, if I was to say, am I happy with where I am based off my decisions, like where I am I happy with where I am? I feel like my answer would be no, because I still feel like, cause I feel like you were touching on this a little earlier, I feel like I've made good decisions, but I could have made some better decisions. I think some of that has come from arrogance on my part, probably thinking I knew what was going to happen. I remember in college, I kept thinking I'm going to find, you know how in movies, someone gets a sponsor in college?
Yeah.
I always thought I was going to get a sponsor. Someone's going to say, I see the talent in you. I'm going to pay for everything, right? That didn't happen. I never got a full ride to college. It just shows me how I've seen how many different opportunities when I could have worked harder. In high school, I could have worked harder for scholarships. I could have worked harder to be on a athletic team. I could have worked harder to maybe take my podcast further. Just all the things that I could have done. Mm-hmm. Not to say I'm beating myself up, but I feel like there's something there in me that knows I could have been better. Something could have been better. So
can you go harder now? Because if not, you're repeating the same process.
Exactly, right? Yeah. And I think that's part of the reason why I've gotten here. Now, do I go harder? Yes, in a way, right? But does that backfire because I'm going too hard? So it's something I deal with all the time. Yes.
Yeah. When you're constantly trying to reach like a goal, like how you said, like you may belittle some of your accomplishments. I feel like that's in a sense going too hard because you should know that the goalpost is going to continue to move each time you achieve something. Yeah. So once you achieve one goal, it's going to move again. It's not going to be the same. You're going to want and desire more, a more advanced life, a more developed life. Right. And that's even something that like I'm glad that y'all kind of went because it gave me a second to think like, okay, yes, I can sit here and point out all my flaws. I can point out how I lost relationships due to not communicating. I could point out how I've messed up projects because I didn't meet the deadline, and I communicate that I wanted to meet that deadline, and I didn't keep them in the loop of the process. I can point out all of those flaws, but I also can show grace and show attention to the fact that I'm the first in my family that like is fully pursuing like my dreams all the way. I'm the first in my family. Well, I won't say the first because I don't know all of my family. Like they're gonna get on here and be like, bro, stop capping. You feel me? But I'm like the one in my family that moved out at 19, and I'm sure other people have, but the majority of my family still live with their parents. The majority of my family still continue to like, you know, they chased their dreams at one point and like they just stopped and put a hold on it once they had children and different things like that. I'm the one that continuously advance myself and get around more people so I can point out those things rather than consistently always tearing myself down and belittling my accomplishments. So yeah, I do feel like you can go too hard at a point. You gotta give yourself grace and know that like where you are is okay and where you're going is also gonna be even greater.
And I heard you mention burnout. And that is so real. Yeah. Like, you can get to a point where you're going so hard to the point where, like, you have no more energy to pour into the other areas of your life. Like, you're going so hard, you don't work out no more. You don't even eat right no more. You're not spending time with your family, you know?
Yeah. And I think that, my bad, I think that if you're just chasing money and stuff, like, it don't mean anything if, like, you're out of shape, if your mental is not right, if you know, all the other things, like, it's not just one advancement in life. You have to, your mind, body, and soul has to be intact with one another in order to get going. And I feel as though most people look at things from a poverty mindset or what they've been taught about, like, money and different things like that. Like, it's not just this one way of thing. Like, anybody can get rich. It's just that rich people, they do things in a certain way. And so you have to follow that code. There's clues to success and you have to pay attention to it.
And being fulfilled inside is so much more better than sitting here having all this money. I'm not saying money can't have this happiness.
Yeah.
I'm not going to say that. But I also am going to say you have a lot of successful people who are rich and don't feel good on the inside.
Yeah.
Like, their souls don't feel fulfilled. And that is something that definitely I don't ever want to have to go through.
Yeah. I feel like I get fulfillment from the fact that I do what I love. So like how you said, like at 19, you know, you moved out. I feel like I have a similar story. I dropped out of college at 19, and I was like, okay, I need to make some money real fast so I can stay in Atlanta. And then I did that, and I've been here ever since. But even though I have some like hard times, at the end of the day, I'm always like, I get to do what I love every single day.
Yeah.
I get to work with celebrities and have them in my clothes. I get to create. I get to see myself create things I never thought I would be able to do. And I'm truly enjoying doing what I love and designing. I've been talking about it a lot more lately, but anytime I mention like me being a designer, I always tell people like this is something I've known I wanted to do since I was 7. So even the fact that I can still say the dream I had as a child is literally the thing that I'm doing now. I find so much joy in that because for most people, you have dreams as a child that die when you're a child.
Right.
But mine got to stay with me. They got to grow with me. So it's just cool to watch how, like, I went from, my first clients was my dolls. And then when I got to elementary school, and then when I got to middle school, I still didn't know how to sew, but I started, like, selling denim, like, repurposed denim and stuff. And, like, I would dye it and bleach it. When I got to high school, I started sewing, and by my senior year, I was making my own prom dress. So it's just cool that the fact that, like, this craft has grown with me, and I get to wake up. And at first, it really was still a hobby. It's like, I want to be a fashion designer, but I was like, I would sell something here and there. But the fact that I can say I am doing as a career, full time, like something that I love, that has been something that I wanted to do since I was a child, I find a lot of fulfillment in
The
that.
fact that you just did a wedding dress, something that somebody gonna, that's gonna be in their family.
That was going crazy.
So I have a question then. So really quick, raise your hand if you feel like the work that you do is what you love and you're like doing it right now full time.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
He said,
I'm on a half and half.
you're on a half and half?
You don't love what you do?
I would say this. I'm good where I'm at. You know what I'm saying? I don't think it's the work that I'm attached to.
Okay.
But I've always kept God in the center of everything I do.
Right.
So the doors that open for me is just like I'm able to like. I've jumped around in so many industries to where I've been able to win awards, do good in all those industries. I'm not really attached to the actual business of it.
Okay.
Because I always know I'm gonna always do something different. That's just
Right.
personally.
Yeah.
See,
For
go ahead.
for me, like I said before, how I got into social media management is because I want to do service for others, and sometimes now that I do full time, that kind of strips away some of the I want to do this for a client again, and now it's like, dang, it feels like work and not passion and fulfillment anymore. It just feels like just work because I do it for artists on a regular basis every day.
Yeah.
So now it's like I want to tap into the podcasting where I want to have my own talk show. I want to see other avenues I can get into and build my own self as a brand because I do see myself being a brand myself.
Yeah.
And so those are the multiple things I actually want to do and that I'm still trying to navigate to do, but it's having the time to actually do it. Because I don't.
See, I'm on the flip side of that. The whole reason why I asked is because I do feel like most of the people that are sitting here right now, they are doing what they love to do and they can, make some money from it. I love to podcast, right? I am not at a point where I'm making any money from it. So I have to work jobs, 9 to 5s, because I have more than one job, right? And I'm doing all that because I want to put money into the thing that I love so I consider it a good problem. It's something that you love and you get paid for it. It might get annoying, but you love to do it. It's still easy for you to pull up to do it, and you can get paid for it. What I love to do, I don't even get paid for it, but I love to do it because of the fulfillment of it, right? So as much as I work, I sometimes might get burnout, but it's actually a little easier for me to go do that thing because I know that I am going to do the thing that fulfills me, because if I don't, then why am I even doing all this?
Yeah.
So it makes it easier for me to even try to search for that goal to make sure that I can make sure my podcast grows.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna have to work to put some money into it. Yes, I might burn myself out, but I also know I'm wired a little different. I can do more than some others might to make sure that I can take this somewhere. Because if I'm not taking it anywhere, then why am I doing it?
For sure.
I also see in my business, because of how much work I put into others, I felt like I could have done that more for myself when I was an entrepreneur. When I came out of college, I was a full-time entrepreneur. This job that happened, it didn't come till 6 months after college. Every time I kept getting into the final rounds of jobs that I actually really liked, and not saying I love this one because entertainment industry is not a 9 to 5, it's every day.
Yeah.
So, but I really wish I would have put that same effort that I'm putting into these artists, into these restaurants and all that, because they manage different things, that I would have done for myself as an entrepreneur.
I battle with that for sure. And even like what you said about like burnout, like I feel as though we're kind of in the same field, and then I relate to Jada often about like just clients and stuff in general. And so like burnout, like I've literally been in burnout phases where like I'm overwhelmed, I'm like overstimulated, I'm like acting out of character, or not acting out of character, but just like stressed, and like now I'm not being the person that I am. And so you have to like pay attention to those cues. And I even relate to what you're saying as far as like the podcast. It gives me the freedom to express myself and be my own entity, my own brand. Mm-hmm. But then it's a challenge when we're doing stuff for podcasts and then you have clients and they're like, oh, I need this right now. Like, I need you to commit to the stuff that I need. Yeah. And so it's like, okay, like I have this gift, I'm sharing my gift, and it gets me relationships, but it also can kind of leave me in a space of like, all right, what is it that I want to do? Because I have this gift. I love contributing to people, but I also love contributing and pouring to my own brand. Right. And so it's like, what do I want to go all the way in with? And like, what standards do I want to set if I want to continue to work in this space? Because the entertainment industry is really nonstop. It's like, even if you try to take a day off, you still gonna have somebody calling you about something. You feel me? Yeah. And I think that's something that you relate to as well. Like, just when you're doing dresses and stuff. Oh, I have an event at this time. Like, it's like there's no sanity to keep saying, like, you just gotta keep going at times and really just going. Yeah,
that's true. And I relate to that, and to like add to what you were saying about how you always did dresses. For me, like, I always did content. When I was younger, I used to make content for my friends and, you know, little flipograms. Then it started elevating for me to actually get paid, and now like that's like what I do for full time.
For sure.
But so it's like I like to do content, but then it's like now what you were saying. Now it's like it's a job now. So now it's more of a burden. It's like taking away creativity that I could use in my own brand. Mm-hmm. So it's like I don't even feel like, you know, putting as much creativity and thought over here because I'm so focused on getting my clients' content done. I'm so focused on working over here, you know? So then it starts to feel like, okay, well now my own brand isn't growing, so,
For sure. And it's like, the last thing I'll say is like, when I had a YouTube channel, I was able to have all the time in the world to create whatever videos that I did. And sometimes it's like, dang, I wish I would have took more time to go all in and really like do what's uncomfortable rather than like always contributing to somebody else's business, because now the same effort that I'm putting into theirs, by the time I'm done doing that, it's hard for me to contribute to anything that has to revolve around me, because you're like drained. You feel me? Exactly. And so one question that I had, did you want to go before?
I had a question.
Yeah. Okay. So the one question that I had was like, have y'all been to college, and like have y'all ever had like a plan B, or is this like the one thing that you have to contribute to in order to make something work?
I'll start. So I did go to college. When I went to college, I didn't know what I wanted to do at first. Then I got into one major, didn't stick with that. Got into another major, stuck with that, graduated. And again, I'm thinking something is just gonna, or actually, like I said, arrogance. There were some jobs that I probably could have had coming out, but that is not what I wanted to do. So I said, no, I'm not doing that because it's something else I know I want to do. But then sitting where I am now, looking back at that decision I made, I can already feel if I would have made a different decision and maybe accepted those jobs I didn't want to do, I would. To me, I'm not gonna lie, I feel like I'm very much a money chaser right now, because that is what I need to feel, more secure. So I would have had probably some more money for longer, and I could do more with it. So because of that, I feel like I've had to pivot because those are decisions I didn't make. So I've had to change up how I do things from there, and I have to, sit with that, swallow that pill, but I have to, I've been trying to make sure I'm doing things different from there, because I can already see how this decision years ago is still affecting me right now. Yeah. So I have to move different.
Have you been to college, Jaden?
I didn't go to college. I enlisted right into the Marine Corps, and I feel like for me, trucking is that. I would say it's my plan A. I don't have a plan B, but for me, being the face of trucking and creating an opportunity gives me the platform to be what I want to be in life. Eventually, I want to grow and be a life coach, where trucking can make his money. I can hire someone to do what I do, and I just go be a life coach, help people in need, personal development. But to be a personal development coach, you got to perform. So in order for me to have something to talk about and to show that I did it, trucking is the way for me to make that mark for those people in my definition.
Yeah, she said she'd been to college, but you could tell your experience. Have you with being in college and stuff and your plan?
Yes, so I went to Georgia State University. My first major was film and media, and then it went to journalism. Found it out, I don't care about the old TV shows or history. Journalism, I don't like writing. Don't like it. I caption, I can do a quick caption, but I don't like writing out stuff. It's just not it. And so then when I found media entrepreneurship, I was like, oh yeah, this is where I'm meant to be. It was so crazy because like my mom, I know she wanted to be an interior designer. My dad wanted to own his own radio. So I just felt like everybody had their own thing that they actually really wanted to do, but nobody went hard after it, or they had, family or kids, basically. And it was like, for me, it was like, yeah, media entrepreneurship. I knew I loved the media. I knew I loved to be in front of the camera. I knew I actually liked working behind the camera and learning new stuff. And every time I tapped into like dope videographers to learn behind the camera before I started being like, yeah, I want to be in front of the camera or doing YouTube, all that things. I was like, yeah, this is where I'm meant to be, for sure. Yeah. So.
Okay. Jada?
So yeah, I'm a, I didn't know if I was supposed to camera that. Okay, so yeah.
Not you acting like you never potted.
College dropout. I went to, where did I go?
Clark Atlanta?
Well, I was going to say the first school I went to. Okay. I went to community college for my first semester, and then I went to Clark Atlanta for a year. But I've never had a plan B. I used to say I would be a fashion designer, and it was never like I removed the fashion designer. So it's like, oh, I'm going to be a fashion designer and an architect. That was what it was for a long time. And then from there, like fashion designer and a teacher, like teaching people how to design and stuff like that. But I've never removed fashion designer from the title. But it's crazy because sometimes I think about like how big my goals and my dreams are, and I think about like, dang, that's like really big. Like what I'm actually trying to build a global brand that outlives me, that outlives my kids, and all of that. I think like that's really huge to shoot for, and it's like so big that sometimes it could be like a little scary. But it's like, well, I mean, I don't got no other options. Right. Like, I mean, because at this point, because I didn't graduate from college, my options for jobs is very small. So I'm gonna have to make some work, Yeah. Like that's how I feel. But I don't have a plan B. But I honestly couldn't see myself doing anything else.
Purpose work.
Yeah, for sure. You said college, plan B.
I said for me, nah, I ain't go to college like really playing. It was just get money. And,
I'm not mad. Get money.
He said get money.
I don't care what
that He said we ran out of the we ran out of money.
I ain't had no plan B. It's literally like, just say it all in plan one. You know what I'm saying? Like it is what it is. Like long as it pays, I'm good. You know what I'm saying? Regardless of what it is. You know what I'm saying? Like I never really cared too much about what other people thought of me. So like whatever I do, like long as it pays. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's real. So how have you navigated that vehicle of like what's gonna pay you and get money?
Because you're a serial entrepreneur, right?
What you mean?
Like you have multiple.
Oh yeah. But like it's never like I'm tied to one. You know what I'm saying? So like shoe selling, like I can stop if I wanted to, but it's like why not? Why would I do that? Like the money I'm making. So,
yeah.
I actually wanted to. That was where I was going to pivot the conversation to next after you go, because you mentioned something about like not being tied to something, and I wanted to touch on that. But you could go.
Yeah. So go ahead. Well, I was just saying, like, I basically agree with you. Like when you said that, like, yeah, nah, I ain't. Like, also I agree with him too. Like how he said he not happy with like basically where you at.
Yeah.
But like with your decision, you know what I'm saying? It is what it is.
Yeah.
Like,
You make the use of it.
like just, make the use of it. Like just do what it is. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, just get money. Like make sure. Like that's
Let's
it.
make that a clip. Just give money.
Get money.
Like, what else is it to it? You know what I'm saying?
That
Your house not free, your car not free, your clothes not free,
Right.
your teeth not free, insurance not free. Ain't nothing free. So it's like, what else is there to do? Like, just get that money and have fun, enjoy yourself. You know what I'm saying? That's why I was saying, like, enjoy yourself with relationship, time, business, whatever it is. Just enjoy. Like, this is life. Like, you only get one. You only get one. So like, live it up, however you want to. You know what I'm saying? There's no right or wrong to nothing. Like, a lot of people be like, oh, you doing that like that? I don't like that. Okay, cool. You don't like it, but I do. You know what I'm saying? It's like, you know what I'm saying? It's what it is. Like,
We lit.
I say like straight like this. Y'all probably like this, but like people that do OnlyFans, you know what I'm saying? Hey, they making money. You know what I'm saying?
It's OnlyFans managers
Like
too.
regardless, whatever you're doing, make the money. That's all that matters.
I feel like that's what I respect for people. Like whatever the vehicle is of what you're doing, then that's gonna be like that's what works for you. It doesn't matter what works for the next person. So like just put respect on somebody's contribution.
Yeah, because I wanted to do motivation for so long, and I'm gonna get into that. Like that's like I say that's real plan B. Like that's like But it's really still plan A because like I know I want to do it. Like and I'm going to do it. Like I'm gonna
that's
eventually.
That's to him. Like he said, he eventually wants to get into life coaching. It's not that it's a plan B, but that's a part of plan A.
Like, I think it's gonna happen.
The only reason I'm tied, I like being tied because personally for me, like my name is on the company.
Yeah.
So it's like I can't focus on selling shoes because I'm building this not for me. It's bigger than me. I'm building this for when I'm like my grandkids will have a name on the building. You know, that's the only reason I'm tired. My family don't have nobody with a name on the building.
For sure.
Like I'm the middle child as well, so I feel like God forbid if both of my parents left tomorrow, I want their name on the building in Atlanta somewhere. So I just
for sure. I think the main thing is like you don't have to execute every single goal at once. Like you could write it down and save it for later, and that's something that you do at a later season of your life. But it's figuring out like what is the one thing that I'm consistently gonna put effort into in order to continue to grow and keep going. So like it don't necessarily matter that you haven't started on it yet. You can eventually get there. I bought a heat press machine and completely with a totally opposite direction. I thought I was gonna be in the clothes and stuff and start a fashion line and all of that, and I went from YouTube and graphics and doing a podcast now. Like I haven't even touched that heat press machine since I bought it. You feel me? So what's the your like? Have you been to college? What's your plan?
I say I never really like when y'all talk about passion. I don't know about that. I chased freedom. Like I like the idea of freedom, and like him, my goal was to enlist into the military. I ended up getting an Army scholarship at Clark Atlanta University, and I did my year or so. And the only reason why I wanted to go to the military is because they said you do 20 years, you get a check for the rest of your life.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, everybody else doing 40 years, so
that's
half of what everybody else is doing to retire. So I was chasing freedom, and once I got exposed to business, it just made sense. So I didn't. I seen what it looked like to, take your wife out the country and not even touch your business. Or I seen what it looked like to pull up in the car that you want and not the car that you can afford, or pull up in the house that you want, not the house that you can afford. So that idea of living has always been something that I've always wanted. So it wasn't really necessarily, oh, I gotta do this to make it there. Like, no, it was like, okay, but I found the specific people that was doing it and that got the life that I wanted, and I did exactly what they did. So when he talk about, like, I did his policy, when he talk about, oh, you did my policy, if I was passionate, I would have known exactly what was going on. I said, listen, I got to call my assistant, I got to see what's going on, because I'm just not that passionate to none of my businesses at all. But, yeah, college, I mean, it was cool. I met a lot of people.
Yeah, I haven't been to college neither, and so I didn't have no plan B. Like, it was going to work some way. The first way I started was, like, started washing cars at my school, and then went from there to, like, doing YouTube. But the thing is, like, so how you said, like, you always knew you were going to do fashion. I always knew that I wanted to, like, be a part of the entertainment industry. I just didn't know exactly what that was. And so as Yanni, like, doing the flipograms, editing cartoons and like stuff like that, like doing all of the editing stuff. So I knew, and then it kind of just came to me. It started with the YouTube. I started the YouTube channel. It ran up to like 50,000 subs. And like, I went from wanting to be in front of the camera. As I started getting depressed, I didn't want to be in front of the camera anymore. So I started the graphics because I knew I didn't want to stop doing YouTube and being in the entertainment world. I just didn't want to be in front of the camera at that moment. And so I've gained as much relationships that I would have ever imagined through servicing people through graphics rather than just doing YouTube. YouTube, it was kind of like you really gotta like stand out to the most part, and that's the point where I'm getting back to now. Like we're doing a podcast, me and Yanni, like we're challenging each other to do YouTube. Jada
2 weeks behind.
Not 2 weeks behind. You feel me? But it goes back to that one thing of like working with clients and like okay, I have all these clients that I gotta contribute to, and I can't just. That's what makes the money. But I also know, like, I'm a go-getter. I'm going to go and get what I need in order to advance my life. Like, I don't ask nobody for nothing. And so that's, like, really something, like, I haven't had no plan B. I knew for sure I wasn't going to college because it was just a non-negotiable factor in my mind. Like, it was nothing that was going to sway me anyway. And even with what you said of just, like having the passion. Okay, somebody else said something about passion. Like the passion work is really something that I have to learn that, okay, you can be passionate about something, and this can be a hobby, this can be a skill set that you have, but when you're turning it into a business, now you have to move differently, because I feel as though your name means everything in this industry. So if you mess up your name, you have to repair those relationships, because you're not gonna get anywhere just
and start new ones.
Yeah, you're not gonna get anywhere just trying to break this relationship, then you start a new one. For the most part, everybody know everybody. You feel me? So you gotta continue to contribute, because one connection may get you somewhere. Working with celebrity clients, it started off with me working with a few celebrity clients, they knowing their friends, and they connected me to their friends. So now it's just a whirlwind of connections. You feel me? So yeah, that's something that has been my experience.
Yeah, that's real. And I kind of want to add to that. I feel like having good relationships is more important than having a lot of money.
Yeah.
Because you can lose the money, but your relationships can help you get that money
Yes,
back.
they can. That's a bar.
You can also
That's
learn
a
from their
bar.
experiences, like what he said. Like if you have a mentor, like I want to get into insurance, and I met him today, I'm gonna call him every day. Like, bro, what did you do? You already paved the road. Let me come ride down it too.
Right.
I might,
exactly.
If true mentors, you might just ride past them.
You get exposed to more.
Love,
Yeah.
You definitely get exposed to more. Last thing I'll say, you get exposed to more. When I first started working with Dave, after having people reach out to him, connecting through all of that, when I first started working with him, I paid $4,000 to meet him in person. I was already on his team, but the respect and the value that I paid $4,000 for VIP to get to an event that I already was able to get in for free. But it wasn't about me, I work on your team and the entitlement. It was about, I know I need to get in that room, so whatever I need to do, I'm going to do it. It's not, I'm not looking at it from a perspective of, I work with him, he owes me this, I need to get in there for free. No, I didn't look at it that way. So that opened the door for me, and he even, he just exposed me to more. He put me on a first class flight. To go to Miami, and bought an Airbnb for the whole team, and it's that's different. Open up your mind, being able to do that for your team, that just exposed me to more, for real. It was, yeah.
So, well, I wanted to.
Okay, I still got to answer the question too. But
Okay. my bad.
go ahead.
Hey y'all, what's up? I know you're enjoying the episode, but real quick, we wanted to take a second to talk to y'all.
Hey, pull out your phones right now and text the word GP Crew to the number down below. Let's get it.
Go do that right now. You're going to get updates about new drops, events, and so much more.
And don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Now let me get back behind the camera. Let's get it.
Okay. So I was going to say, I always knew I didn't want to go to college. But I felt the pressure from my family of, you're supposed to go to school, go to college, then get a job. So I always felt that pressure. And when it was starting to be around high school, my aunt and grandma asking me what college are you going to go to? And I would just be I'm looking at this college. But internally, I know I am not going to college, right? Yeah. But then I'm thankful because my dad was being in my other ear saying, you don't have to go to college. As long as you're doing something that you love to do and it's paying you good, that's all that matters. You don't have to go to college. So I'm okay, I'm just not going to tell my family that I ain't going to college. And then by the time I graduated, and then they saw that I wasn't about to go to college, but they saw that I was actively pursuing a dream. And I feel when they saw me doing that, then it's okay, well, she's not going to college, but at least she's not just sitting around, Yeah. And then they started trusting, I know she's going to do something. But yeah, I don't have a plan B. And I feel that plays a part of me wanting to go hard, because it's if this don't work out, I don't have nothing else to rely on.
Yeah, my mom and dad, they didn't put that pressure on me. So it's everybody has a different perspective.
Yeah.
For sure.
So. What was the question?
Well, I got a question too.
Okay, so Jada, go first. Jada's at this point, forget it. Go ahead,
Jada. Okay, really quick. I've been wanting to touch on what you said. So I've definitely had a lot of moments where I feel I felt bad because I'm not that type of entrepreneur. I have a lot of emotion. Attached to my brand, but also the fact that I am a hands-on entrepreneur. Sometimes I feel bad about that. I feel sometimes I'll think how you said you made your first 6 figures at 19. I'll think about how, because I am such a hands-on entrepreneur, what my business requires me, and I want to be able to be the type of entrepreneur that doesn't have to be so involved in what they do. But that's just, I can't see myself at the same time letting go of my fashion brand. But ideally, it seems, I don't know, sometimes I feel like it seems smarter. Like the friends that I do have that do similar things to you, it's just cool to see, dang, they're able to scale so much faster because they're not trying to make a bunch of dresses or put in all these hours creating something to get paid. And so, yeah, I definitely have had a lot of moments where I felt bad, like, dang, maybe if I did something like this, it would be a little bit easier. And not saying like what you do doesn't take hard work, but more so like maybe that could be a vehicle for me to get to.
But what's your goal though?
My goal is to have a global fashion brand and be like the next Gucci, Versace, all of that. I want that, but right now I'm doing all the sewing and I'm doing all of this work, and I feel like.
But how did they start though?
They started.
How you started?
Yeah, true.
So it's like you're already on the right path.
But I guess I think about, so we're all young, so I think about how there's so many other young entrepreneurs, and I guess this goes into comparison for real.
Yeah.
But so many young entrepreneurs who become really successful really young, and I feel like, yeah, I'm building, and I'm definitely putting in the work to get to that dream. But it's more so like, dang, I want to hit certain money goals like sooner than later. And it's not that it's not possible with me being hands-on in my business, but I just feel like the vehicle I'm in is taking me a little bit longer.
Yeah.
And I feel like, dang, maybe if I did like something similar to you or whatever, or didn't feel so like attached, like I view my brand as my baby or something, then maybe it would be a little different or a little easier, you know?
That goes back to fulfillment too, like
Yeah.
your identity, like, because
it
if you
still
go
makes
work
me
for
happy.
him and then let's say,
Yeah.
God forbid, that's your last day, now you spent your last day not making dresses.
See,
I
well,
was gonna say something too.
go ahead. And then I got a question after you go.
Alright, well, I was just gonna say, like, how do you feel about all the comparisons you're doing? Like, how do you feel about that?
Dang, he put you on a hot seat. I'm weak.
No, but
That's why I
be weird.
don't
Like,
wanna
does
ask
it make
it,
you
'cause I'm
feel
like,
bad,
man,
or because I know for me
So
it
it's not
does.
a consistent feeling. It's more so I have the thought sometimes.
Yeah.
Maybe like it'll just be like a thought that pops up every now and then, or when I see certain friends who are, I guess that type of entrepreneur, I'm like, dang, that's so cool. Like they were able to do this thing. It's not necessarily like their name is super attached to it or their feelings are super attached to it. They're able to build this thing, start making money from it, and they're able to scale like quickly from it, and then they're able to go to the next thing. Like if they want, they can just go to the next thing. Even thinking about like my time freedom, right?
Yeah.
I feel like I have to really plan things out. If I want to go on a trip, I have to think like, dang, well, if I got 5 dresses to do this month, I can't go on no trip.
So I'm gonna hop in right here. All right, so you talked about freedom earlier, and I've been pondering on that as we've been talking ever since. What does freedom look like to y'all? Because you hear financial freedom, financial freedom, financial freedom. Start your own business, get financial freedom. Okay, so then you're on this path toward that financial freedom, but it's like, do you want to be free of this thing that gives you fulfillment, or is the thing that gives you fulfillment what provides you the freedom? And do you really want to be free of this thing that you created? Because it's your little baby, right? So, and you want to scale, but you have to do all this work to do it. So what does that even look like?
I feel like I want to do intentional work where I'm not constantly exchanging my time for money.
Yes.
So I'm not doing things like Jada said of, oh, I can't go on this trip because I have all of these orders to fulfill. I have videos to edit. I have flyers to do. I want to do intentional work where I can delegate. I can use like the idea of like who, not how, of, you know, I feel like wisdom and procrastination, they kind of go hand in hand in a sense. And the reason I say that is because sometimes you can have wisdom, you can have all these big ideas, like Nationwide is on your side. Yeah. You know what I mean? You can have all these ideas and you want to execute them, but you just don't have the time in order to really work on it. Me editing for clients and stuff, I don't have the time every single day to continuously contribute and to the ideas that I have for my brand. So it's like you might as well work a 9 to 5 if you're going to continue to go down this road of consistently working back to back and trying to exchange your time for money. So it's like the reason why I said procrastination and wisdom kind of goes hand in hand is because you could be procrastinating on the wisdom that you have and the ideas that you have, but you just don't have the time to execute it. And so you have to then learn how to put people in position to execute that dream. Who can fulfill this part of my life? Who can fulfill this role to get the job done so that way I can move on to something else, as you do when you see other people that you're comparing yourself to. So when I'm comparing myself to other designers and different things like that, you're only comparing yourself because you're not doing the work that they're doing in order to get to the next level. You're staying at the same level and trying to be a worker and not get out of that work environment. You feel me?
And that's why it's so important. These people don't have, like, I have a lot of Instagram mentors that I look at.
Yeah.
I've been fortunate enough to meet a lot of these people in person and watch them. That's why it's very important, especially when you start off in business, to find somebody that's doing what you're doing that has the lifestyle. You see, there's a lot of people making money, but they don't have the lifestyle that you want. So if you keep doing what they're doing, you're going to have the same lifestyle. So I know a lot of people making a lot of money, but they never can spend time with their family. What kind of life is that? You know? So if you have that image of that person, you're able to see what does it look like to run a multi-billion-dollar fashion design company and still be able to go off, and then your business come back and it grew.
Because that's possible too.
So, all right. So here's another question then, because I mean, to get to that point, it's like, so at some point, don't you have to sacrifice the freedom to get the freedom that you want?
Yes,
Yeah.
you do.
That's right now.
Yeah.
But it's also not forever staying in that moment. And the thing is, like, we'll talk about doing intentional work. We'll talk about, like, you know, doing the work that's needed. But we have to continue to move the needle. What is going to move the needle in order for us? Just because we say, like, we don't want to exchange our time for money, continue to exchange our time for money, doesn't mean that we don't want to do work. Doesn't mean that we want to be lazy and just sit around. We want to contribute into other areas. We want to fill other assignments that God gives us in our life for purpose-driven work, for intentional work. I want to speak to kids about having a sex addiction. I want to speak to kids about, you know, dealing with not having a father, especially black men. I want to speak to black men about mental health and different things like that. So it's not that I don't want to continue to fulfill this assignment in my life and in the season that I'm in. It's just that I want to move and reframe it in a way where other people are also contributing to it. You think Tyler Perry has to show up to the studio every time when a movie is being filmed? No, he doesn't have to do that. The people that work at Gucci, they don't have to show up to the stores. They have people in position doing that. The people that work on clothing brands, they're not shipping out the orders. They have big companies and machines doing this. So it's like fulfilling other areas and not just consistently working for $1.
Yeah, exactly. And like to add to that, I feel like in order to get to a place where you're working on the business, you have to first work in the business.
Yeah.
And I feel like that experience is important because when you are working on the business, you're not going to know, if you don't have the experience of then you're not going to know who's doing what, if they're doing it the right way.
I don't know about that.
Why you say that?
Because I know somebody, I'm not going to say their business because I feel like if I say them.
You could explain what they're...
Okay, they do something. It's like a business that's very easy to scale. They did this with I don't even want to say that. Okay, so they did this business. They made a lot of money from it. I want to say they made millions of dollars. Yeah. And then once they did that, the girl said, I am going to start a fashion brand now. She's never had a fashion brand. And now, because she's made millions of dollars doing something like similar to what he does, now she has millions of dollars to start a household fashion brand that she wants. She's not working in the business. Now she has all the money to hire everybody she needs to bring this to life. So I just feel like she did that for a couple years. Like, I don't want to use the word sacrifice. So she spent those couple of years doing something, basically creating a vehicle that would get her to the point to where now she's able to start her fashion brand easy. She's able to hire all the people she needs. She's literally able to do everything she wants. And she's able to create her dream fashion brand opposed to, I'm building brick by brick. I'm starting from the ground up and working towards those, eventually have my millions and stuff like that.
See, that's interesting because I feel like people say they want to be in it brick by brick, go the hard way, but come on now, you telling me if you're gonna start from $0 or $10 million, which one are you gonna pick? Like that's the one you're gonna pick. So I know for me, again, in the work that I do, the podcast is something I love to do, but that has not brought me any income yet, right? So I'm just basically trying to find the vehicles that will get me the funds to do what it is that I love to do. And it's like, I'm sacrificing my time and everything, but I don't mind that because I know that it's going back to that. So I just think it was really interesting you brought up that example, because I feel like some people feel like they are discouraged if they have to use a vehicle or use something else to get them what they want. I feel like that's you using your resources. So you got to do what you got to do.
It's your investor.
Exactly.
Keon, what were you?
This is how I feel though, like.
I love when he pops up. He literally stays silent. He like, nah, I gotta speak.
Yeah, then when he speak, it's like
I'm gonna be honest, cause like, I really be waiting like on all y'all just to speak and then I speak. But I just been thinking this for like almost a minute. Like, what's the rush in all of it? Like, what's the rush in getting to where we gonna go?
Cause you don't know how much time.
Yeah,
so
but at the same time, it's like, okay, you spend so much time in the business, now you're missing out on family. You spend so much time on family, now you're missing out on business. It's like, what you gonna do? You know what
I think that's the factor that I also struggle with, because like I moved here to Atlanta to benefit in the areas of my business and grow and not work for $1. And when I say not working for $1, having that freedom to do whatever it is in life that I would like to do, to heal. And I always say this, I wish I would have healed before starting a business. Sometimes I think like, dang, I wish I would have possibly got a little experience in working a 9-to-5 so that I can have discipline of time management and different things, having SOPs. And sometimes you have to work in the business, in other people's business, in order to see how they're operating, how this successful business is running. How is McDonald's still getting clients and customers every day buying their food, and their food is not all that good? How is Chick-fil-A having a long line around the corner every single day, and they're closed on Sunday? They have that boundary to close on Sunday, and people are still gonna show up Monday morning. You feel me? So it's like really just what is the life that you want to live? And I don't think we should beat ourselves up, but I also don't think that we should just move in a way of like, we got time. You feel me? Like we should move with some sort of urgency and continue to plan. And you don't have to. This is something that Dave taught us. You don't have to reach every single goal right now, but if you didn't reach it this month, try it again the next month. See what you can change. You feel me?
How do you know how much time you have?
You don't. You definitely don't.
Exactly. So like, what's the point? What's the rush?
But I feel like I'm trying to.
You don't know how much time.
Yeah, you don't know how much time you have.
I feel
So
like
what if
for
you
me,
rush and then it's like tomorrow the end?
And that's
Try.
What are you gonna say, Jada?
I'd rather go hard in my 20s, so that way, or just go hard sooner.
Yep.
That way, by the time I get to my 30s or sooner, whatever the case may be, I'm able to just live my life how I want to.
For the rest of my life until that last day.
It
But I feel
does
like you
feel
just
like
gonna keep comparing yourself though.
But it's not that. I don't think that's comparison. I feel like that's the lifestyle I want. I never want.
No, I'm saying in general, like people, like you can be like, dang, I'm not here yet where they are. You know what I'm saying?
Well, in this case, I'm not saying where they are. This
is what I desire for my life, the standard.
I don't want to be 45 and still having to wake up.
Right.
Exactly.
About
so that's why you gotta
worrying about a 401k and stuff like that.
Yeah, you gotta have that fire for real. I feel like you have to have something that makes you be like, okay, let me get up and let me go towards this thing instead of just being so like honestly,
I also feel like I think we can probably all relate. I think something that's probably created a sense of urgency in all of us is probably seeing our family members maybe work 40 years for something just to not really be able to benefit from it. Because people say that we don't want to work. I'm like, no, I don't want to work for you. I want to work for me and make the money that I want to make how I want to make it. And that's why I feel like I might be feeling rushed to get to these points, because I want to be able to actually enjoy it. Some people didn't get to enjoy it, and I've seen my family go through that. I don't want to go through the same thing. I'm pretty sure they don't want me to either.
I have a question for everybody. Like, who have most of you worked a 9-to-5 or no?
I got one.
No.
What was the question?
Like, has most of you worked a 9-to-5?
I'm in one right now.
Okay. For the ones that haven't, like,
not
was
corporate,
it?
I have.
But
Right.
Okay, but like, when it came down to like management time and discipline, like you said, and you wish you would have worked a 9-to-5, how did you guys navigate through that?
I'm still navigating through
and push forward through.
Yeah, I'm still navigating through it because it's like, okay, I have to have some type of structure or discipline in order for this thing to keep moving. You feel me? I can't continue to not be able to manage my time because I'm going to continue to mess up relationships, which is going to continue to not allow me to get in rooms that I would like to get of, and it's going to mess up the image that I have, and it's going to mess up
Snowball.
It's a snowball effect. You feel me? Like, it keeps growing more and more. And so if this is something that you really want to do, then you have to hold yourself to a certain standard. And it's not the fact of comparing yourself. It's not the fact of beating yourself down, but it's the fact of learning, understanding and reflecting and having that self-reflection of knowing where you are and where you're trying to go and progressing 1% better every day. You feel me?
Yeah.
And not just like being complacent with where you are, because in that case, you know, just rock out until the last day.
How does I get what you're saying, but I don't get it. So how does you working a 9 to 5, how is that going to help you become a business owner?
Well, I never said like it would help me become a business owner. What I'm explaining is like I wish I would have worked one. Initially, that's my thought. When I'm learning that like I'm lacking discipline, I'm lacking time management, I'm lacking that. I feel as though if I know that I want a business and I know that I want something that's big and longevity. For example, working if you're a graphic designer, maybe instead of me starting off being a freelancer, I could have worked in somebody else's agency and see how they operate their systems, how they continue to manage, get in orders, and lock in people. Who do they have in position that's doing what I need in order to set this standard for my business?
But that could be learned through mentorship.
Yeah, and that's I'm learning that through, and that's why I don't say it like that's why I'm not working a 9 to 5.
Yeah,
you feel me?
I'll say,
yeah.
Well, I wanted to add on to what you said about time management. So I feel like as far as getting a 9 to 5 and like how that's played a part in like time management and things like that, I'll say I feel like a 9 to 5 really does make you think. If you're not already this type of person, like let me get stuff done.
Makes you think of
Because before I did become a full-time entrepreneur, I worked at like UPS for like 5 months, and I would work like overnight. So from like I would go in at like 11 or 12, get off at like 7, 8 in the morning. It would be terrible. But I would get off at like 7, 8 in the morning, go home, take a nap for about 3 hours. I wake up, my interns come over, and they would help me sew and work on stuff till about 6 p.m. And then I would cook. And then I would go to bed at like
Time to go back
8
to work.
o'clock. And I would sleep for about 3-4 hours. And then it would be all over again. And that was 5 days a week. And so
Golly.
I was gonna stay on that schedule because it's like, okay, I'm not gonna stop designing. I'm not gonna stop working on my business. But I still at the time need this job. So I feel like it helped with my time. Well, I don't want to say it helped with my time management. It made me switch to the mode of I'm going to get as much done with my time as possible. Instead of when you are an entrepreneur that's full time, sometimes you can fall in the cycle of I got the whole day.
Yeah.
I
could sit in bed and work.
Yeah.
You feel me? I can text people back whenever I want. I can live however I want to live, but it's like, no, you got to set these standards in order to like stay on track. And you know, I definitely want to go back to what you said of like, what's the rush? I don't think there's necessarily a rush, but it's like, if this is what you want to do, like, what are you going to do in order to get to that goal? And even if I don't make it in time of my last day, like at least I did the best that I could. At least I showed up in a way that I would have respected and appreciated more. So that's the main thing for me is like I'm doing the best that I can, and I'm continuing to progress and get the experience, as you said, like mentorship. So although I haven't experienced a 9 to 5, I'm getting mentorship where they're being honest with me. They're calling me out in the areas that I need to work on. So like with all of this, like if it's said and done, at least I contributed in a way for my life and the standard that I wanted to set, and I did all that I could for the time being. You feel me?
I feel like to add on to that, for instance, my grandmother and grandfather both drove school buses their whole life. Like 40 years, they retired, which there's nothing wrong with that if you love that. But what you said earlier about having that opportunity, like us, they didn't get an opportunity to live their dream due to kids. I guarantee their dream wasn't driving school buses for a high school.
Exactly.
Right. So I feel like this is my chance where my mom didn't do it. She had kids early. My dad had kids early. My brother, they did all stuff. So for me, I get the opportunity.
It's your time.
Yeah.
I get the opportunity, so that it's not like a rush, but like they didn't live their dream, so let me do it.
But also doing it for yourself, because it's to what Keon said of like not doing it for everybody else, but this is something that you want to do for your life. So it's like being intentional about what it is that you want. Yes, you know, you want to do it for your mom. I want to retire my mom. I want to, you know, have relationships so that my brother can do whatever it is that he desires when he grows up. But at the end of the day, I want to make sure that I'm doing this for me, and this is what I want to do, and this is what I want to contribute to my life. So yeah, like being intentional about it. You feel me?
Yeah, it's a rush for me. It's always a rush. Like you said, you went first class. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
Who wants to sit here and look at somebody else's life? And I'm not. It's comparing because it's like if I look at somebody, I know I can do that too. I'm not gonna look at somebody in first class and on a jet and living their best life and be like, oh, I can't do that. Like, I want to live their life. And even if it's a glimpse of their life, I understand how God works. All of this stuff is in the Bible. Be fruitful, multiply, dominate, have dominion. I'm not supposed to be stuck in fruitful. I'm supposed to be able to dominate, be able to walk into wherever I want to go, and be able to know that I can afford it. So if I'm sitting here just going through life, just playing around, you can't play with life like that. You got to be able to go after whatever you want. And I mean, it just so happened that we measure it with money.
Yeah. You just made me think about this. So I don't know if y'all have ever read the parable of the talents in the Bible, but it talks about you have 3 servants, and they're all given something to steward over, basically. And the 2 servants who had, I believe, like 2 pieces of gold and 5 pieces of gold, they went to work. They started stewarding over that money, and they multiplied it. They turned it into more. And then the master, he was super happy about it. But then there was that one person who, once the master went away, he did nothing during that time. He did not steward over it. He didn't make it grow. He did nothing with it. And so then when the master came back, he was like, you wicked, lazy servant. Like, you did nothing with this thing that I gave you. And so I feel like kind of that's how we should view time almost. It's like, how much time has gone by and you've done nothing?
Right.
Like, how much time has gone by and you did not steward over the gifts that you were given, or steward over the money that was in your possession, or steward over the opportunities, you know, that you have. And so it's just like, I feel like we should have that urgency, you know, to go after those things.
And that's what I was going to say. Like, it's not so much of me just being in a rush, but it's more so of me not wanting to live in regret later on. It's more so of me knowing that I have the opportunity now. Who knows how life will be 5 years from now? So it's like, okay, let me use the time I have now where it's like not a whole bunch of responsibilities to chase after what I want. Because I know time is just going by and you never know.
Especially after being exposed to more, being in rooms and you seeing what people have attained. And it's not a thing of comparison, but it's a thing of like, yo, I want to continue to live an advanced life. I want to live to the fullest extent that I can. That's what the goal is. That's what the goal is to live the best that I can to the fullest extent. You know, do it for me, but also do it for people that I love. As you said, like they've had their time. They had their time before you to make decisions. And that's what I think in business and in life in general is. It's all about making decisions. And when you decide not to make a decision, you still made a decision anyway. You feel me? So it's like being intentional about it. And one question that I have is like, what's connections or what's the intention that you've had with networking? Like, what do you see with the benefits of networking and mentorship and different
I can
things
speak
like
to
I
that.
can speak on that one
So-
for y'all.
So yeah, I was gonna say. So it's ironic because I met y'all 2 months ago, and I remember I think I've told all of y'all a dream. Like if people would say, "Who was a dream guest you would want?" I would say y'all, right? Where am I sitting? So just I've seen in the last 2 months when I show up to these events, I've kind of seen you gotta pay to play a little bit, but when you get in that room, it's so many people that you can literally touch that are literally right there. And once you make a connection with them, you can actually take something from there and have a result almost immediately. So if you get into these rooms, they can change your life. That's what I've learned. Yeah. So I'm like, bro, I'm in. I know I need to be at these events for sure like that.
Sure, you can't stay in Ohio.
Here we go.
Well,
Big
of course,
Cincinnati.
I'm a living proof testimony for the Growing Painz Podcast for sure. So I've been to networking events, but like I said, like after college, I was a full-time entrepreneur, and then there was a time where I was like, okay, I really just need some money. But but I don't want to just take any job. I wasn't going to take any job. And so 6 months in, you guys had, what was it called?
The Go-Getter Link Up.
Yeah,
Come on, y'all supposed to know that.
The Go-Getter Link Up. And I came and I spoke up on stage. I got so many followers. So many people asked me questions. But the one particular person, I don't know her name. I just know her Instagram is like Urban. She basically was like, I have an opportunity from you. She met me. We talked here. She said, I have an opportunity for you. I think this is something great for you. And that's how I got into Street Execs. She connected me with Tech. Tech is one of the bosses of Street Execs. It's Tech and Al. And literally Tech was like, can you meet me this day? Told him, yeah. Pulled up. Had an interview real quick. I got the job like two days later. Like,
Let's go. Yeah. I'm glad nobody interrupted her, so we need to clip that up. We gotta clip that up. That's a testimonial.
Yeah, like, that opportunity, these type of spaces right here shows you, especially like for young entrepreneurs, because sometimes, like I said, like I've heard all you guys, we can get down on ourselves, we can get overwhelmed, we can get exhausted and tired.
Yeah.
And then most of all, like when we don't put ourselves out there, we're holding ourselves back. We're hindering ourselves back. So, but when we do, and it's with young entrepreneurs like ourselves, we can see that, dang, like I do have people that I can relate to. I do love this type of feeling, these type of connections that I'm making. So then I can grow and be like, oh yeah, I knew her and this is what we had and this is how they helped and go further and beyond.
Sure. How about you, Jay?
I would say with me just relocating from California, and I have friends, but I really don't have any friends right now. And that's kind of to my advantage because with me just now coming here, I get to network and build the friends I want around me, like categorize them like he said earlier. So I would say networking is a key part. Like me, I'm a part of the Standard, which is like a private members club in Atlanta, which got me into Rich and Fit. So now it's like, but also it developed a brotherhood. Like anything I want, I can ask anybody, can you connect me with this person? And within like 5 minutes, I got someone for you. And it's guaranteed. So I feel like networking is key because I feel like your network is who you can pick up your phone and call. So if you can't pick up your phone and call you for a dress or you for social media, how we gonna grow?
Yeah.
No, for sure. And I feel like for me, networking has been super beneficial. Honestly, me starting to work with like a lot of like millionaire clients happened from it started from my relationship with Donnie, and that started from me showing up to Social Proof Podcast a lot. And so Donnie recommended me to one person, and then after that, I started working with more successful women as clients, women who were willing to pay thousands of dollars for a dress, which I wasn't really used to before then. And so I would say that's been super beneficial. But I know as far as like my goal for mentorship, I really, really want. I've had mentors, but I want a mentorship and from somebody who's actually really, really successful in fashion design. Like, I honestly would love to go somewhere like Paris or something like that, and go to these people who own these household names and pay them whatever the price is. Let me stay here for a summer and see how this is ran. Because I've been mentored by very talented designers, but they didn't have the business side together. But I've also had mentorship from business people, but they didn't really they're not in my field, so they don't really
know how to connect.
They don't fully understand what I do. And so to be able to say, I have designers in mind, but I know who I would want to work with. Yeah. And like pay for mentorship like that. I think that would be super, super beneficial for my growth.
For sure. She said.
Hey, can you run the question back one more time?
Like what has been the benefits, or what have you realized is the benefits of networking and having mentorship and different things like that?
I say it's been real good for me because like when I got in touch with Jay Shepard from y'all Go Getter event.
Another? That's hard.
Yeah, so like got in touch with him and he became like my mentor, but like also like more of a friend too. So like we just talk on a regular or whatever, you know what I'm saying, whenever we get in touch. And he just tell me certain things. Like I ask him how you feel about this, how you feel about that. You know what I'm saying? He just let me know and I just run from there. So and then like with everybody else, like even CEO Matty J, a couple other YouTubers, Avery B, you know what I'm saying, Vontae, all of them, like I just talk to them and just see how they feel about certain things and then I just go from there.
Yeah, networking, mentorship, I mean, I'm just blessed. Like I can get whatever I want. You know what I'm saying? Like Like, just looking at these last 6 years, I'm like, it's like not too many people that I don't know that I was looking at. I'm like, dang, like, if you're my close friends, you're lucky, because it's just certain places I be going, I'm like, wow, like, and it's all based off of getting invited. It's not necessarily, oh, I'm in a group chat and all this. I had to pay to go. It's places I don't even have to pay to get in, and it's all based on relationships. So relationships are real, and it's not just for getting something from them. It's also for it's a standpoint of like reminding yourself, I have something to give too. I'm valuable. It's an exchange. And people want me. People want to see me. So if you're just sitting behind your phone all day trying to just, you know, make that life, it's not going to work. You have to actually be in a setting to where you're sitting face to face with people. So networking is real.
Yeah, and I definitely want to be added to the close friends for exposure.
Right.
I'm a trustworthy person. Right. I'm not going to screenshot the close friends or anything. I'm going to just watch. Be exposed. You feel me? So I think that networking has been very beneficial. And the reason being is because I didn't even know that I was intentionally doing it, working with not only celebrity clients, because that's the difference. Sometimes a celebrity can be a celebrity, but they ain't making no money. You feel me? And so not working with celebrity clients, but intentionally working with millionaires, like you said, Jada. And so the thing is, for me, I didn't realize that I was networking this whole time. So from starting a YouTube channel, I was influenced by like Queen Naja, DDG, Clarence NYC, different people like that. So I started the YouTube channel, going to Queen Naja's shows. That's networking. I went to multiple shows in the front with my camera vlogging, and now they're seeing my face over and over. And so I think that's the thing that most people ask is like, oh, how do I network? Keep showing up. You want to post on Instagram, take a picture with them, build a connection, build a relationship with people. Stop trying to show something that it's not. Like, you're trying to show people, oh, I'm with this person, I'm with that person. But are you building a relationship with them? Are you making money with them? Are you moving in excellence with them? You feel me? And so, like, working with Dave, that was something, another connection built. I saw the story on his post where he was like, I need somebody to make a thumbnail. Went to his followers, see who follow me, see who follow him. How can I get connected quickly? Even though that I'm not in his face, how can I get connected quickly? And that was the way that I got connected, was having somebody reach out to him. They got back to him, and she reached out to him, and he got back to her in 5 minutes. And so that was a connection that's built where I'm now on a network with them, with Jada and Yanni and Zell. I'm now on a network where I have a podcast. I now have been exposed to different people like Donnie and all of their people, and I'm editing their videos, and I'm hearing the way that they think as millionaires, the way that they get money, the way that they build relationships. So networking has been like a very beneficial factor into my success, because I have continuously to be intentional about networking.
Okay, let me add to that. You just made me think about something. So I talked about, I guess, what do they call it? Networking vertically? Like when you network?
I never heard of it.
I've heard of it. With people on the same level as you?
Well, yeah, you can work with a network with people above you, but also
horizontally.
Okay, yes. So what I'll say about networking with people on the same level as me, I feel like that has been the most beneficial thing for me, because of course I've had more money, I guess, money opportunities come from networking with people. Networking up. But as far as like character development, I've got a lot from working
networking across.
Exactly. And so I feel like when I started networking with other entrepreneurs who say they were having like $10,000, $20,000 months, but they were successful in things that maybe I wasn't good at, but we're still peers, you know? They helped me get out of my comfort zone. They helped me grow in different areas. They put me onto things that I really didn't know about before. And so I feel like that has been something that has been super beneficial as well. Like, not only just working up, you know? Yeah,
that's something that I got to do more, because I have like those network, but I haven't tapped in with those people, because like, okay, you're working with these millionaires, you're servicing them. So it's like, I haven't paid attention, like, network with the people that's also in the room. And that's even something that me and Jariah recently did at Revolt, where he was like, bro, we got to talk to people and just build a relationship with different people.
When you network across, because I've seen Issa Rae said it. Yeah. So when you network across, you're working with people that are in the same spot as you. They just as hungry as you, but it's your friends. Yeah. It's like, bro, I am struggling. Help me out. all right, cool, I got you. We both in the same spot, or we're in similar spots. I can help you out. We the same age. We're not the same age, but we're in the same spot. So I can help you out because it's a pressure that comes with networking up. But if you look across, this is a peer. This is a friend. This is someone that is at the same place as you.
For sure.
So
somebody that you can actually grow with.
sometimes, like you were saying, I feel like sometimes this might be a little even more beneficial to do that.
Right.
Because y'all going to go get it together. The
Yeah.
people above you, they want to help you, but it's not like they're looking across. They're kind of looking down. The people
They're
with
looking
you, it's like,
up
bro,
to the next person that's above them.
we're trying to get to the same place. So
What's
let's do
been
it
your
together.
benefit?
And I want to add to that real quick. And it's like most of the time, if you network with people on your level, most of the time they know somebody that the direct relationship that you want. And which is like the example of you connected with Dave.
Yeah.
But I say for me, networking has been so beneficial. I remember last year I was doing DoorDash and I wanted to go to InvestFest so bad, but I knew that I wasn't gonna make enough. Because I was in Maryland and I knew I would have to pay for a plane and Ubers and all that stuff.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, I have a skill, so let me delegate this skill. I DM like 100 entrepreneurs, just telling them like, oh, I do content. If you need somebody to help you with your social media or this or that, I can help you. And now I didn't even know, but that's networking itself. Like if y'all don't have access to go into rooms, start with where you can. Add value to somebody and they'll pay you, and then eventually you'll be able to build up to be able to get into those rooms, because that's how it was for me. So I delegated my skill. Then David texted back, started working with Dave. But it's like that relationship with Dave ended up just like spreading into other areas, because now, you know, he put us on platforms, let us speak on stage, you know what I'm saying? And now with me having him as a client, now I have enough to go to these networking events. And it's been times where I would drive hours to go to a networking event. I remember this one time Corey Avenger had an event in North Carolina, but it was another part of North Carolina. I was in Charlotte, and I had to drive for a little bit. And I'll do public interviews, so I'm like, okay, I can't go by myself because I need somebody to record for me. I told my friend, like, you know, you could come with me. And she was like, oh, like, I don't have enough. I paid for her and took her with me.
Beautiful.
Yes, and then we got into the room. Me paying for her to go and driving, the video I did there ended up going on Shade Room, getting millions of views. Chris Brown reposted it. Like, that one sacrifice I made ended up just 10xing, you know what I'm saying?
Sure.
So that has helped me a lot. And just these relationships I'm making in these rooms. Like, I remember I used to watch World and Vision all the time with me having a clothing brand. And me showing up in these rooms, now they're seeing my face more and more. The last time when I was at Corey's event, not only did that video go viral, but I also was talking to them, to the Nick and Marlon for a little bit, which is the owners of World and Vision. And they're like, yeah, like, I see you around. Come on our podcast. So not only did I get that video go viral, but now I'm on this podcast that I watched from a long time now.
For sure. And I have a question. And also, Jada, I love what you said, because now that gives me a perspective of, okay, yeah, when you're saying like, oh, I wish I would have worked a 9 to 5, but you now have mentorship and stuff like that. When you network, you said vertically?
Yes.
Vertically and across
Yeah, so
horizontally.
when you network vertically.
No.
Horizontally.
My bad.
Vertically.
I'm bugging. Listen. When you network horizontally, you tend to, so if you're networking vertically, which is up, you're now making mistakes with those millionaires, which can then break those relationships.
Right.
And so when you network
Horizontally,
I'm losing my mind. But when you network horizontally, then now you go ahead and you can make those mistakes, and somebody's gonna keep it. Yeah, with the people you're building with, and they're gonna keep it real with you. And the one question that I have is like, when you are networking or when you're working with people, and you have people who have a platform, different things like that. This is something we talked about on one of our segments. Sometimes people want work for free in exchange for exposure and stuff. So how do y'all deal with that of like knowing like this is what I'm gonna get paid for and this is what I'm gonna get exposure for?
That's a good question. Because I've done a few content stuff like water commercials, a few branding deals. But when I was in California, the water company I work with, they're very big. They're bought out by Ethica and stuff. But I was doing all that for free just for exposure. Because honestly, for me, I wanted to be like a model for Ethica. So I was trying whatever I could, any opportunity open, because I just knew I didn't care about the money at that time. At this point, it's just for me to get my name out there and build my face. But But I figure if you don't have like a vehicle, you don't have money, then that might be a way like I would come, but I would need this. But that could also block your blessing because they don't really need you in a way, you know.
I say do things for free if it helps you get closer to your goal, but don't do things for free if you're just being used. If it's really not benefiting you, or if someone is trying to get stuff for free from you, just take advantage of you. Just don't do it. But if it helps, like long term, if it helps you get to where you're going, then I don't see a problem with it. But also you have to know when to stop. Like I got to a point to where I've had seasons where I'm like, okay, in this season I ain't doing nothing for free. Like this is the season where everybody paying me my money. And then I've also had seasons where it's like, okay, I have a plan that I'm working on right now, so it's like it would be very beneficial for me to work with these few people, give them something for free, and then I know it will end up helping me in the long run. So it just depends.
I also feel like you have to, that's on your own discernment.
Yeah.
Honestly, you have to weigh that out yourself because only you will know what is needed or what you feel is super valuable to where it's like, okay, the exposure is going to be great from this to where it's like, nah, you're going to have to really pay me for this. So I believe that's really on
I need my
person.
coin. I've actually not really been in a position to where someone was necessarily. So all the stuff I've been doing so far is exposure, but I'm completely fine with that because I know that you're giving me exposure, but I'm also giving you exposure. So there's an exchange. But I haven't had anyone come to me and say, "Hey, I'm gonna do this for you for free." I feel like my discernment about that is kind of good, but like you were saying, if I think that it's gonna get me closer to my goal, then I have no problem doing it. And for the most part, that's what they've been for me.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
What about y'all?
Yeah, I think, as you get more mature in life, you will start to be more intentional about where you spend your time and where you put your energy. Like, I know whatever I do, I put my own
Jumping
into it.
bars.
So, I mean, it ain't too much for free. Yeah. I mean, I know I'm going to get what I need out of it back. Like, I'm not doing something just like, I hope I get it back. Like, I know I'm going to get whatever I want out of it because I'm intentional about what I'm doing.
Right.
Are you communicating that to that person?
It just depends. Like, more than likely, it's
So you know you're gonna get it, but it depends.
Because what happens is this, right? Let's say, for example, I had a program that I was working with, right, for a long time, and I was pretty much dedicating a lot of time into that program. See, that program put me in positions to where I was hosting events. I was putting, people in rooms. I made 200, 500 people. I was doing it for free in their eyes. But in my eyes, I was preparing myself to charge people. So it's like I'm very intentional about what I was doing.
Okay.
So it's like it just depends.
Yeah.
He's like, it just depends. Whatever it is, it depends.
Let me just tell you right now, it just depends.
It ain't for free, for real.
Yeah.
Okay.
It was preparing me.
He cleared me right there. I got you.
But for me, really, like, I say shout out to like AMP. I don't know if y'all know what that stands for.
Yeah, any means possible.
Any means possible. Like, that's literally, like I said, like, plan A, get money. Like, just any means possible, whatever it is. Like, that's just what I stay focused on, like, as long as it pays.
He said, if it ain't about the money.
Don't be hitting me up 'cause I ain't got time. Hey, bro.
Think about it, like, what else is there? Like,
Yeah.
Like, what else are you calling?
If it's business, it's like if it ain't about the money for real. You feel me? Like,
Like,
you're not just doing this for fun.
Like, say, he said small talk. I still never asked you, like, what do you mean? What does small talk mean?
He said, what do you mean by that?
Like, for instance, let's say
Cause like, dang, y'all just not accepting no small talk. Like, you talk small talk, you cut. Like, you gone.
No, not that you cut, you gone. Let's say you ask me, like, how was my day? I'm like, oh, my day was good, this, and the third. But after that, like, my head just don't be like, let me keep the conversation going.
Nothing more than
I think when you
I think it's like continuous.
They checking
I
up
think
on me
it's
is different. Like, you checking up.
Like, dang, that weather's pretty crazy outside today.
I'm like, yeah.
I'm like, if you're hitting me up every day talking about what are you doing, that's small talk. What are you doing every day? What are you doing? That's small talk.
Yeah, everybody can talk to me. Like, You got, like I said, intentional. You got to be very intentional.
Yeah, we got to be on his close friend.
Conversation.
Right.
What are you talking about? It's like it's the season.
I feel like maybe you can. Well, of course, like you can talk to people, but as far as who are you really having conversations with, I feel like it's like real conversations, high and by stuff like that. Yeah. Is one thing, but like the people you're really letting consume your time.
Like us, because we were sitting for 2 hours.
No, girls, but nah, we've been having a good conversation.
Yeah.
But I think you just have to really be mindful about like who are the people that I'm letting like fill up my space and having all these conversations with, because it does affect you at the end of the day.
For sure. Yeah.
We're not going to talk about.
You think your conversations don't affect you?
Right.
I mean, it is what it is. You know what I'm saying? We talk. We don't. You know what I'm saying? It don't bother me. Like, long
but
as I get that money.
I'm saying, does it affect?
That's all I care.
If it's not about the money,
I just don't understand what else it's about.
Okay, but
Not the money.
Money is small talk.
I'm not saying do conversations like
You gotta build up to that,
like,
though.
do you care if people talk to you or not? I'm saying like conversations can affect you mentally. They can affect your energy. Like conversations affect you in that way. So it's like you have to keep that in mind when you're talking to people.
I would say mine stem from, since me like being in the front office on my company, I do a lot of cold calling. And when I'm on the phone or I'm doing something, it's like, hey, how I get this contract, or hey, my truck is here, or hey, this is there. So it's like, if you want to talk to me, what is there to talk about right now? If not, like,
it sounds like
movie, you know.
It sounds like everybody need to read the book Better Small Talk
by
Patrick King.
Busy, like, that's what
but that's 24/7.
So literally every second, even when you at the
not
office,
24/7, bro.
5 a.m. I go to the gym. Then after that, I come back at 7. Then it's from 7 until, let's say, like 6 o'clock is straight trucking. Then from 6 o'clock, I spend time with my little brother. So I feel like if I'm spending time with my little brother, because I just moved here from Cali, so I really don't like. I'm giving all my time to family right now, like a catch-up speed. So after that, then 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock, I'm back to sleep. After I do my little night routine, my books and stuff, it's just.
But is that structure every single day? Because I can be realistic. I can say.
Every day.
Okay. That makes sense. Yeah, because I was about to say, like, I could say, like, oh, I work 16 hours a day, but am I intentionally working for 16 hours, or am I taking out an hour on my phone? Am I taking out an hour to just sit and procrastinate? Am I taking an hour to wash up or just sit and take a walk or something, you know?
Like car rides, like on the way here. Like, you don't got time to talk to nobody on the way here?
On the way here,
or on the way back home.
No funny stuff. On the way here, the whole ride, I'm listening to a podcast.
I'm not mad at that.
But even like some of that time you could call somebody.
That's
like,
what I'm saying. Like,
it could be like a cool 10-minute call. Hey, how you doing? Like, what's going on? I sometimes do that with my granddad.
I feel I would do that, but like
you can.
I'm just not
if you tell them up
front. That's how I know it's just an option, though. That's why
I don't want to.
No,
that's just my man. Like, you my bro, but we could talk about prospects, anything, but if you're not my bro, you're not in that category.
But this how I feel though. A lot of people make it seem like, oh, I just have no time for none of y'all. Like, it's just like, who you think you are? You know what I'm saying? In my head, like, who do y'all really think y'all are? You know what I'm saying? Not saying you.
No.
But like people that be like, oh, you know what I'm saying? Like, even for what you said, like, you can't talk to me, like, huh? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
so when I say you can't talk to me, here's what I mean, right? I got people that will call me, like, no offense, my family. They talking about what just happened.
Right.
Mm-hmm. You called the wrong person to talk about that.
Or you telling me about what's going on in the news.
You think I'm finna sit here and listen to what just happened, and I'm sitting here trying to build a multi-million-dollar business. Yeah. So it's not, you can't talk to me. I'm going to give you a time limit. Like, no disrespect. Yeah. I'm going to give you about 2-3 minutes of that. You know what I'm saying? Dang, that's crazy. All right, thank you. All right, love you. Bye-bye.
Like,
you know? Gossip. We not go. It's some people we not going further than gossip.
Like, how much can we say other than that's crazy?
Yeah, to that point, when you telling me about like, oh, you know, Keisha just had this baby and this person doing this and he's still acting up, it's like, oh, that's crazy.
I gotta go, so
that's crazy.
I do have people oh my bad. Well, I was gonna say I have people who I intentionally, I don't want to say ignore, but when I'm working.
Yeah,
like, these people, I am not talking to them.
You'll get a phone call, you're like, I'm not picking up.
Yeah, it's like, okay, once I finish talking, or once I finish working, then we can talk
Yeah, especially people who want to talk to you and not find a solution at the end of the conversation. They just want to talk to you about the problem.
Well, and it's just like, what are we talking about? Like, if I have, like, say, like, y'all call me or something while I'm working, if I can still work while we on the phone, then I don't mind us talking. Especially, we're not about to be talking about just anything like, for hours and hours. It's
also not serious all the time.
Yeah, we talk with some type of intention. At least, like, we typically either planning something or figuring something out or whatever the case may be. Yeah. And then it's like, all right. Yanni be like, all right, y'all.
Yanni be the first one. Yanni be like, all right, I gotta go, y'all.
I would also say for me, I would say I do small talk, but it's me talking to my 12 drivers. Where I call them, check on them, which is me like, that's 12 people that you're calling. Like, you drop your load, but are you good? You tired? But it's mainly like, it's small talk, but at the end of the day, I'm just doing that extra step to make sure you good for like your welfare. So it's like, my phone is ringing. Of course, my grandma, my family, that's my priority. If you're my family, I make time for you. You got into a car wreck, I'll put anything to the side for my family. But if you're not like my family, my inner circle, or you're not a connection, you know what I'm saying? I just be like, bro, like, what's up right now? Like, you good? If you good, let me hit you back, or like, hit me at this time.
I'm not mad at that. Unless you're dying, don't do that.
But like,
I agree.
I need to take care of this real quick. I'll call you after 8:30. I can talk for like 15 minutes. Can we schedule for next Tuesday or something like that? You know, I want to go to the gym.
Put you on my calendar.
Yeah, I like that.
But that's still intentional.
Like, that's what I was gonna say. I look at that as you just using your time wisely. Like you're not just spreading yourself thin to whoever just because they want to talk.
That's for sure, and I agree with that. And so, you know, I feel like everybody need to read the book Better Small Talk by Patrick King, because everybody feel a different way about it. You feel me? That's a good book that I read with starting a podcast and stuff. There's different levels of relationships and small talk that you can have. You can have intellectual conversation of small talk. You can have, you know, just life small talk, and you don't have to talk to everybody about the same thing. As you said, putting people in position of like what role you play in my life as a friend, as a family member, different things like that. So if it ain't about the money, make sure you go subscribe. We appreciate y'all for tuning in. And like, if y'all have any last words, want to give y'all Instagram, y'all can follow me at Tre'Vion. My graphic design agency is Royalty Made It. Like I said, them thumbnails, them graphics, that's all Royalty Made It. So let's get it.
Yes, and then I also want to add, make sure, I don't know if you mentioned, make sure y'all subscribe, tune in on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. Yeah. Comment down below a business or an intention that you're working on, and also follow our Instagram, Growing Painz Pod. Make sure y'all do that. But yeah, my name's Yanni, and I own a Christian streetwear brand called Wise Label. You can follow that on Instagram and TikTok.
All right. My name is Jariah. Once again, I'm a podcaster. I'm the podcast host of The Highlight Reel. Once again, The Highlight REAL __. And one of the things I want to leave the audience with is basically to step into these rooms that if there's a conference for something that you want to do, or is people doing things that you want to do, I would always recommend from now on going to those conferences. I wouldn't have been able to even be on this podcast if I didn't go to a podcast summit. So just go to these areas and you'll meet the people that you probably want to be along with. So, yeah.
My name is Avion. You can follow me. I'm a social media manager, digital media manager. You want to see it. Follow me at Who Is Avion, and business Lazanay Media, LAZANAY Media.
My name is Jaden Lattimore, and I work for MKL Logistics. Follow me on Instagram at DJ Lat. And one thing I would leave the audience with, I would say, is wait your turn and have faith. At the end of the day, just have faith.
Yeah, for sure. There's something else we're supposed to tell the audience. I can't remember. Oh, YouTube. The other YouTube.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so make sure y'all follow our Growing Painz Pod YouTube channel. And if y'all want to see more roundtables like this, let us know what y'all would like us to talk about. If y'all know some people that y'all think would be great to get on here, leave that in the comments and just let us know what you got from the conversation. And you can follow me on Instagram. My fashion brand page is at Jael Official, and my personal Instagram is at IamJadeEllis.
Let's go.
Okay, I go by G-Said, and
G-Said.
You might have to slow down the Instagram app this time.
G-Said, don't get caught up in doing, you know what I'm saying, whatever you're doing. Like, make sure you enjoy life. It's life. You only get one of them. So,
and get to the money.
Just really, yeah.
Get to the money.
Go ahead.
Get to the money.
Plan A, get money. Plan B, enjoy. That's it.
Okay.
That's it. Just enjoy the money.
All right. And what's your Instagram?
OG Vato at 0g.vat0.
OG Vato.
I mean, or you can just type in what G says. Go type in the name. W-A-T,
That
no
OG
H.
Vato got me though.
Yeah.
OG Vato.
All right, Keon Edwards, it's Keylock, ITSKEYLOCK on all platforms. The biggest insurance brokerage in the United States. So that's that.
Sure. And so, last thing, one thing I want to leave people with is to love yourself enough to not sacrifice your own well-being, both in business and personal. Show love to yourself before you can pour into anybody else. You feel me?
Let's get it.
Let's go.
Yeah.
We out.
Round table.